What's going on, YouTube? My name is Gianni, and today we're reviewing the altars. In a year where developers are finding more and more ways to blend different genres together to create new and unique experiences, the team at 11-Bit Studios has continued this trend with its base building, resource gathering, sim management game that puts players in charge of a band of misfit clones tasked with escaping a desolate planet. It's a formula with elements that admittedly are not my typical cup of tea, but the Altar sticks the landing as a wonderfully weird science fiction adventure that succeeds in making busy work addicting and fun while telling a deep personal story centered around regret and accountability. The Altar centers around Jan Dolsky, a builder for hire working with the mysterious Ally Corp in the not-so-distant future. Jan is sent to an uncharted planet in the far reaches of the galaxy as part of a recovery mission tasked with finding Rapidium, a newly discovered element that has untapped potential of immeasurable value for the people of Earth. After his ship crash lands at his destination, Jan realizes he's the only survivor remaining. His first priority is to get his base of operations up and running, and that's going to require minerals, food, and energy. It's here that the game starts to drip feed its base building and its resource collection mechanics. The Altars implements a pretty straightforward day and night cycle that has you spending time to expand your ship, build new equipment in the wild, and farm resources to progress new projects that are meant to get you home, all while avoiding the dangers of the environment to live another day. While exploring the planet, you'll utilize new tools to accomplish bigger and more dangerous tasks, like scaling massive cliffs or destroying obstacles. The fun here is that everything you do in the Altars has some sort of resource given and resource gained, so every day feels like a balancing act of activity planning. Do I want to spend the day mining organic materials? Do I want to push further into the map to explore and find new items for my base? Or do I want to extend my network to connect more fast travel points? It's an amazing progression system that not only forces you to manage your tangible resources, but your time as well. Every productive day feels like a huge dent in the overall mission, while every poorly executed day feels like a step backwards. And the game does a great job of challenging you with increasingly puzzling environments that require more thought in how to outline your exploration and connect points on the map. So while the first biome is fairly open and straightforward, as I got into the final stretch, I was working with complex geography that seemed more like a puzzle to solve than an A to B walking simulation. It applies a nice amount of pressure to your time management, but not so much that you're banging your head trying to figure it out for too long. That said, not all of the exploration aspects clicked for me during my time with the game, and I'm speaking primarily about the combat portions. There's no enemies in the Altars per se, but there are these weird kind of anomalies whose only role is to hinder your movement in the world. The issue here is that you'll run across a few types that vary in size and aggression, but they all kind of utilize the same exact mechanics. They're mostly invisible until you get close, then they appear with a spinning core, at which point you shine your handy-dandy flashlight at them and they disappear. And then you just do that over and 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 over. Just get rid of it. We don't need it. Once you get the hang of the general gameplay loop, Jan learns that if he's actually going to get off this planet, he'll need to cover massive ground to find a rescue team, and if he's going to do that, he's going to need some help. With some advice from a mysterious stranger, Jan uncovers the technology to create altars, alternative versions of himself that have branching life paths different from his own. And while your Jan gets to run point as the self-appointed captain of the operation, his altars make up his new crew. In a time where seemingly every piece of media is trying to squeeze the life out of what's left of the multiverse wave, the Altars flips the entire premise on its head while asking some really interesting philosophical questions of you, the player. See, Jan has a very particular life path that brought him to the moment you pick up your controller, but his Altars paths branch out at very different points, resulting in wildly different personalities, attitudes, opinions, skills, likes, and dislikes. They all start with the same foundation: a sick mother, an abusive father, and a pivotal moment at the age of 15, but all of these alternate Jans made completely different decisions at different crossroads that caused them to lead separate lives that all converge at the point of picking up work with Ally Corp. And while your Jan specializes in construction, his counterparts all specialize in other types of work because of their separate paths. This could be science, medicine, botany, engineering, mechanics. It allows for a diverse crew where every character plays a crucial part in the success of the mission. And it's at this point that the Altars adds sim management to its unique brand of genre bending. When you're not building and maintaining your base or collecting items, you'll need to balance the livelihood of your alters, from their daily work schedule to how they decompress. This could be anything from eating their favorite meal to watching hilarious films that you can collect in the overworld. You can even build them spaces to do their own thing in their free time, like a gym to work out at or a park simulation to relax. But a big part of that decompression is just checking in, seeing how they're doing, what they're feeling, and offering guidance if they need it. It produces several emotional beats and personal moments that connect your Jan with his alters. And because every version of him is unique, they all have their own set of regrets and grievances with their life choices that they're just trying to grapple with. I didn't expect to get some really poignant observation on mental health when I started the alters, but it was a welcome surprise by the time I was finished. Now, outside of chatting with your team, you'll need to take on some real leadership responsibilities and decisions that'll either increase or decrease their overall attitude, and keeping their spirits high is key to efficiently running the mission. But to be honest, this morale system was one of my bigger gripes with the alters. The game does everything it can to make it clear that your squad of Jans all have varying responses to the exact same conversations. So while empathy and sensitivity might work with one, it doesn't necessarily mean it'll work for another. Some alters respond better to tough love. Others are more carefree. I would say your team telegraphs these attitudes pretty clearly, but during my entire playthrough, I don't think I experienced a single point where an alter was mostly positive or happy. It felt like their decline from cheerful to sad was a 90-degree cliff, while their progression from angry to optimistic was a painfully steady incline. I'm not sure if this was also meant to be an observation of mental health, but it became a little defeating after a while that nobody was happy despite all my efforts. I mean, come on, do they not know that beer pong is the best solution for an existential crisis? I do want to shout out Alex Jordan though, the actor behind Jan and all of his counterparts, for doing an incredible job creating 11 distinct personalities, all with the same voice. 2025 has been a generational run of great voice acting in gaming, and The Alters is no exception. Jordan is backed by an effective supporting cast who voice Jan's Ally Corp connections back on Earth, and your conversations with these characters and the choices you make and how you help them result in multiple branching possibilities of how the ending of the game plays out. It's another really engaging way to give agency back to the player and ensures your playthrough feels unique. Overall, from a plot perspective, The Alters doesn't do anything revolutionary with its twists and turns, but my ending definitely felt like a satisfying conclusion to all the time I spent with Jan, The Alters, and their friends back home. The only real beef I had with the world building and plot was how you interact with Earth. All contact with every character in Ally Corp is isolated to phone calls with their disembodied voice and a caller ID. And while it didn't feel like a big deal at first, it became awfully boring by the end of my 22-hour playthrough to stare at yet another blank screen during a 5-minute conversation. It's not lost on me that this was more than likely an intentional design choice to make you feel as isolated as Jan and his crew, but I think there could have been maybe a little bit of wiggle room to compromise creatively. I would have loved to have seen some more cutscenes and human faces outside of just Jan, if only just to break up some of that monotony. Altogether though, The Alters is a fun and challenging mix and mash of different styles with an intriguing story, beautiful sci-fi landscapes, great acting, and an addictive gameplay loop that rewards proper planning and execution. While I did have some issues with the repetitive enemies, the seemingly disproportionate morale system, and the minimalist approach to certain character interactions, it's still an excellent testament to a developer sticking to their vision, no matter how weird the concept is on paper.